Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we have established a toehold in South America, and we are currently bringing in reinforcements here. We've already brought in some infantry to help hold this line. We're getting attacked pretty heavily out over here, but we're also bringing in tanks, and the tanks are going to launch an offensive operation once they arrive. But we do have some supply issues here, there's no doubt about that. We are making some progress on that, to be sure. Some of these places cannot be interrupted in their construction, and that is very good for us. In particular, we're going to be finishing up a naval base here very soon. That will be done on 9 April, so just 8 days there. And then 9 days after that, we're going to be completing one here. Okay, gotcha. That looks good. We're very pleased about that. Now, we're continuing to work to reinforce these areas. Some of these places have been attacked extraordinarily heavily, like this place, where we still haven't managed to build even a single level of land fort, because the attack here has just been relentless. That is okay. Now, this is currently a level 5 airbase. I want to move our planes from here straight down to here. That's going to be all 1,000 planes that can fit here. Our allies are either going to have to move planes out, or we'll just have to let this airbase develop a little bit further. We'll see what ends up happening there. It does develop a little further, so that's good. So we now have 1,000 airplanes here, and we're going to tell these guys, just start working in the Brazil air zone, which is huge. Absolutely enormous. Now, we can see that there are some issues here. We're currently losing a battle here and losing a battle here. That's probably a temporary thing. I'm going to move these guys in here. I'm going to move these guys in here to help hold this line. Cool. So there we go. Supplies here are definitely on the grim side. There's no doubt about that, but with those reinforcements shuffling around, we've got some space here, and that seems good. Now, the tanks are beginning to arrive. It is currently 5 April. We've also got this armored division, which we're going to put right in over here. Looks good. And with the tanks arriving, that's going to make our supply situation here less tenable, not more tenable. This is why we're not bringing in additional forces, for the record. Once we have a little bit stronger of a position here, we'll absolutely commit a lot more forces than this. Oh, this guy can now have up to 30 units. We should probably move some out of our reserve then. So something like this are going to be brought in over here, and they're now assigned here. So they're going to be making their way over eventually. Some of these guys are unable to find a valid path to the target. You are in Australia. There should be a path to the target there. Absolutely. There's a naval base right here. What are you doing? Head on up here. Okay. Where are you at? Okay, you're in Darwin. Sure. There's a naval base right here. Come on over. Where are you at? There's a naval base literally right here. I have no idea why they think that they can't find a path to the target. They absolutely can. Just, come on over. Why don't you, disembark somewhere around here? Okay. So we'll see if they can find a valid path to the target from there. Hopefully they can. That should be just fine, in theory. So we're continuing to hold on to these areas, and that's absolutely okay. Our tanks are beginning to arrive and get resupplied here. Perfect. Once the tanks arrive and get resupplied, we're going to start launching some attacks. Only with the tanks. But it is going to take them some time to get that done. Now, we have finished up another naval base level here, so we have a few more supplies coming in. Down here, it's still only a level 1 naval base, but we will be getting to a level 2 by 17 April. Okay, that looks good. So with the additional tanks arriving, that should make it... Oh, we're losing over here. Okay, that's a little bit grim. We have some reinforcements on the way over there. That's mostly tanks. I'm going to bring in some Marines as well here. They're really trying to push in here. Okay, Signal Company 2 finishes, and we are going to start working on Signal Company 3. Looks good. We have an unassigned division here. That's going to go there. Okay, that seems absolutely fine. I want to check in on this force here. Have these guys managed to find their way to the target? I mean, these guys haven't. Okay, that's one way to get there, I suppose. They're at a naval base. I don't know what's going on with that. You really should be able to find a path to the target from there. I mean, I could find you a path to the target. You just go over to Spain and go over this way. So we are winning this defense at this point. That is good. Now, what we're waiting on here is for this army to get fully situated here. We do still see a few stragglers coming in. So with that in mind, that's okay. We're pulling in our tanks here. We're seeing some problems down over here for the moment. And I'm going to pull these units of Marines to help hold this line. So downward we go. We're seeing some units retreating here. This attack has been completely constant, right? We might have to pull some additional units from here as well. So I'm going to bring them around like so. We're now starting to see this win, though, so that looks good. Okay, so everything is looking okay here. We're holding this line, but we need to wait for additional tanks to arrive. These guys are the last tanks to come. So that seems relatively okay. We can grab Expeditionary Task Force here, which is actually going to boost up our battalion modifier for all of our Marines by 5% for our, looks like, support companies for our artillery. So this is, we don't have anti-air and we don't have anti-tank in our Marines. So this is going to give us 5% defense with our Marines. That's a very good thing. Our Marines definitely could use some additional defense. So we'll do that. That seems absolutely fine. Supplies are still a concern over here. No doubt about that. But things are improving on that front. It's going to be a while before our next improvement, but we're just getting our tanks into position first, waiting on these guys to get there. Okay. So this looks good. We're going to launch our attack with our tanks soon, and it looks like they're not really going to be a problem. We're not really expecting an issue with launching our tank attack. So that's going to get us more territory, which will allow us to bring in additional forces, which will allow us to really turn the tide here. So currently we've been in a stalemate, and that's exactly what we want in this situation. A stalemate is a victory in this situation. So that is great. And we are just going to continue the stalemate for a little bit longer. We don't need much more here. We're just about ready, waiting on these guys to get their butts over here. Their tank butts. Eventually they'll get here. It's very, very slow. Come on, tank. Okay, the tank is arriving and we'll start to reorganize as soon as they arrive. Looks good. So we can see their organization going up quite quickly by 0.5 per hour. And as soon as they've reached a higher level of organization, yeah, these guys are currently in combat down here, but as soon as they've reached a higher level of organization, we'll launch this. Okay, I would say that we're ready to launch this at this time. This attack is actually let up for a moment here. Remarkable. Which means that we are... Oh, we actually managed to complete a level of land fort here. That's a really big deal. Okay, so at this point, we have a pretty strong front line to defend. And this will become a fallback line if we end up getting pushed back from here. But we're going to launch our tank attack at this point. And we'll see how that goes. There's a lot of divisions arrayed against us right now. And we're not really in a position where we can bring in a lot more forces. We'll get there. So we're going to launch some tank-only attacks here. And it's going okay, actually. Yep, that is definitely going okay. No problem here, really. So we're going to want to start to bring in, and I'm going to select all of these, but this is going to be kind of awkward here. We're going to bring in all of these guys to frontline out over here. However, these 30 divisions are still going to be here, right? So we're bringing in our infantry at this point, and the tanks are going to be brought in soon enough. In fact, let's get started on ferrying them over as well. As we're pushing out here, this should go reasonably well. We're going to start pulling back the Marines and getting the Marines out of here as soon as we find ourselves in a position where we have the forces to do that. Okay, you can go there. You apparently can't find a path. There's definitely a path to the target. Okay, they'll get there eventually, I'm sure. So we're continuing to push out here. That looks very, very good. We've got ourselves a solid fallback line here. And we're going to have to start working on some construction out over here. No doubt about that. But we are absolutely demolishing them on this front line right now, and that's really, really solid. Now, we're not going to push too much further than this river right now. We're going to wait for additional reinforcements, but this is a very, very good sign. No doubt about that. We did get pushed back over here a little bit, but that's okay. No major problem there. We just need to get them pushed back across the river. Apparently we got pushed back over here, but we'll get that back. That's not a concern. Okay, so we're taking up these new positions here. They're going to have a really, really hard time pushing across the river once we manage to consolidate this. So that looks good. We're going to clean up this front line, absolutely, but we need to wait for the reinforcements to arrive. We just finished up research on the better armored train. Not like we really need it, but a lot of this research is kind of irrelevant to us at this point. We're just researching it to keep busy. So that is absolutely fine. We'll run out of tech eventually. That is understood. So they're trying to attack us across this river, and that is a really hard attack for them. They are not going to do well on that at all. I want to make sure that our infrastructure in these states is maxed out. I also want to work on these railroads in the back line here because we're going to need to supply a lot of resources. No doubt about that. I also want to work on another naval base right here. In fact, let's work on 3 total naval bases across this. This is all we're going to use for our supply, but that should be enough. That'll be more than enough. So we'll get that all underway, and we're just going to be holding this front line for the moment. These guys would require more supplies than it has capacity for. Right. So what we need to do at this point is we need to motorize this supply hub, because supplies are going to be a bit tricky out this way for the moment. So we'll motorize that and get supplies going. That seems somewhat better. But it's not going to be perfect for a little while. Like I said, we're going to need to consolidate this position, and that is indeed exactly what the plan is. We are bringing in additional units. Now, I'm not sure if these guys are actually on the way. Kinda. What we want to do is we want to delete these orders. Okay, there we go. And I want to make sure that everyone here in the tank group is assigned to... What army group is this? Army group 2 is assigned to this. Okay. So they're going to get in there. That's fine. Our infantry are going to have to hold this front still, right? So I'm not going to select these guys, but I'm going to select everyone else and make sure that they are all assigned here. So the infantry are on their way, as are the tanks. In theory. These guys cannot find a valid path to target. Okay. That's awkward, but they'll probably get there. Presumably. Eventually. So we're going to pull the Marines back as these units come in. And in fact, I feel like we should probably do that right about now. So I'm going to remove these front lines. So this is Army 15 and Army 16. Do they even have front lines over here? Army 2, Army Group 2, Army 5. Okay. What are you assigned to? I'm not entirely sure what order they're assigned to here. I'm going to clear their orders by telling them to do an area defense up over here. Yes, I know that that will remove any standing orders. That is, in fact, the goal here. So we're going to do an area defense up over here. Both of those have now been removed. And then we're going to tell them to prepare a naval invasion. And that naval invasion, one of them is going to go from here over to Puerto Rico. And that is going to be a little bit awkward for us navally, but that's fine. The other naval invasion is going to go from here down to Africa, over this way. They can just start preparing those. Okay, so they're going to get pulled back here, in theory. Are they all assigned to these? We should find that out. 24 divisions and 24 divisions. Yes, that looks good. So this armored division is going to get assigned here, and we have a research slot available. That should be the 1936 Light. We'll get that going. Fantastic. And we're still working on attacking down over this way a little bit. In fact, we're currently defending that. And we're actually losing this attack here. We do have additional forces on the way in. If we end up losing some areas here, that's not the worst thing in the world. Why are they going here? What are you doing, infantry? Why are you attacking this, Marines? Please, don't attack that. You should be preparing your naval invasion. I guess they might have already had that order. Okay, very strange. Well, this guy's heading in here to reinforce. That's fine. We probably want to move a couple of units over. It looks like there are some moving. Okay. So we have retreats happening here, but that's okay. We're pulling the Marines back. We do expect this to cause some potential issues. You guys just stop and get your new orders. There you go. We expect this to cause some potential issues with having enough troops on these lines, right? But we have additional reinforcements on the way. They should be arriving kind of piecemeal, but they'll be on their way in soon. Okay. I am concerned about this situation here and holding that. Why are you not assigned to anything? We just checked that you were assigned. Only 20 units are assigned to this? Everyone should be assigned to this. Okay. I must have broken that when I ordered them to stop. And this is only 20 divisions. 24 divisions, please. Okay. So the Marines are going to be evacuating. And we are currently going to want to hold this position. Okay. We have been kicked out of this position for now. That makes things mildly awkward, to be sure. We're going to need to move at least one unit over here. Okay. We have additional reinforcements on the way in, though. So that looks good. So with the additional reinforcements coming, we should, in theory, be okay here. I don't think they can push us back in time before all of these guys arrive. So that is going to be okay. Even giving up a little bit of territory over here, this is fine. We have our fallback line right here. So that's okay. No issue whatsoever there. We, of course, have these 24 units all located right here, which is mildly awkward, but that is expected, and the tanks are coming in. As are the Marines, for some reason. Okay, they are now leaving again. Sure. Whatever. That seems fine. So the infantry are on their way. Mountain Infantry 3 finishes up. That looks good. So we have this division that can be assigned over here, and we have a research slot available. There should be nothing more to research over this way. That is correct. Nothing to be done here just yet. Nothing to be done here. Nothing to be done here. Nothing here. Okay, this all looks good. Air should be all complete. Oh, hello. What do we got? Engineering should be complete, and industry is complete. So there's actually nothing that we can do in terms of research until some of these others finish up. Okay, that is noted. So that is absolutely fine. We have additional reinforcements pouring in right now. So that looks good. And our rail networks are improving substantially as well. I want to make sure that we are continuing to work on these rail networks here. And we should probably consider a rail network that connects up this direction and one that connects down here and basically covers our entire front line here. So we'll get started on that. As far as infrastructure goes, this seems fine. We should probably get anti-air built over here, though. So we'll get going on that. Excellent. So our units are arriving. It will take a little bit of time for them to get set up here and situated, and supplies are going to be a little grim out in this area, but that's absolutely fine. I don't mind that in the slightest. Cool. So we're able to hold these positions nicely. We're actually attacking down over here again, and we have nothing actually assigned to this order here. That should be this unit, so I'm going to remove that. Now that all of our tanks are here, we should be able to tell these guys to abandon this frontline order and join this frontline order. Actually, hang on. This is Army Group 1. That is correct. Yes. Join that order and eliminate this order. Cool. So there we go. With all of the reinforcements arriving, that should be absolutely fine. We've got more units heading down over here, and our tank divisions are going to get started on an offensive line, which is probably going to follow, like, this river system down here. And then come down to, like, these mountains or so. And just be something approximately like that. Just carving into Brazil. And then after that, the goal would be to close this gap. Is Paraguay in this war? They are. Okay. So we would want to close this gap. Peru-Bolivia, I believe, is not. Correct. Beautiful. So with our forces still on the way in, we've got more coming here. Let's see what we've got going on. But tanks are getting into position here. There's very little that... Why do we have Marines here that aren't assigned to anything? Why are you not assigned to this order? Get over there. I have no idea what our Marines are doing at this point. Cool. So that seems reasonably fine. Supplies are going to be a bit of an issue, but that's fine. We're going to put these 3 infantry units into our reserve. Looks good. So we've still got more forces flowing in here, but we need to launch this attack. So we're going to get started on that. We're going to launch our tank attack, and the reason we need to launch this attack is we need more territory to be able to support the level of troops that we're bringing in here. And that's absolutely fine. So we're going to push out over here and get a fair amount of territory. Once we're down over this direction, which you can see how our fill-in goes, we're going to push absolutely over and cut them off over on this side. That's the idea. So that looks good. We have plenty of infantry coming in to help defend this territory that we're taking, in theory. So this looks like a very good setup, in my opinion. Why do these guys have a separate plan? Are they not assigned to this army group? They should be. They are. What is your separate plan? Is it out over here? Oh, it is. Okay. Yep, we can get rid of that. There we go. We don't need that. No one was actually assigned to it, so it's all good. Fantastic. We are about to potentially cut off a lot of units right here. Potentially. We'll see what ends up happening with that. But if we manage it, that's kind of huge. Okay, so we have a medium tank template here. We're going to sort that there. Looks good. Excellent. I want to see how we're doing on our tank production right now. We should have a lot of them stockpiled. Production. Here we go. We should have a lot of these stockpiled. 30 are currently needed for reinforcement, but how much do we have in our stockpile? It should say in a moment. It does not appear to be saying. Okay. Oh, there we go. 43,000. Yeah, that should be fine. So no problem whatsoever there. We just finished up maintenance company. That doesn't unlock anything new for us, so this is fine. Unfortunately, we're not going to get the encirclement out over here of the huge number of troops here. But we are able to just absolutely push in here. Now, I want to continue to work on construction in these areas, and the most important parts are going to be the railroads. So this railroad out over here needs to be built up and combined here. We can upgrade this. But beyond that, there's not too much else that we want to do here. We want to make sure that these naval bases are being worked on. We need all the supplies we can get. As far as supply hubs go, there aren't really any down here. We have this supply hub, which we can motorize. That'll help us cover this area, but it's going to be a little bit grim, for sure. So we need to work on that. No doubt about it, supply is going to be a little bit dicey for us down this way. So most of our forces are here at this time. And we do have this guy ready to get a new trait. We can get, like, Organization First or Panzer Expert. I guess that'll be fine. And then we can also give him Armor Specialist. Armor Division Attack and Defense. I like it. And then this guy, he can get a tactic at this point. And the tactic that we want is Breakthrough. Okay, looks good. So we do have a research slot available. That'll be Field Hospital. We'll get that underway. This, I believe we do not have a research slot available for. We have to wait until the 1936 Light finishes up to open us up a couple of new branches. We're almost done with our research at this time. So that looks good. and we're just slowly pressing in over this way. The front is getting a lot longer, though. That's a good thing for us. Like, look at how many troops we have clustered together here. Getting the front longer is absolutely good. Also, taking this naval base would be convenient for us, but what we need more than anything here is access to supply in this region. I'm going to get started constructing a supply hub right here. We're also going to want to upgrade these railroads that we have control of right now, and this railroad. Okay, so we'll get all of that going. We probably don't need to heavily prioritize these naval bases at this point. We probably have sufficient supply flow at the coast, and it's getting it inland that is the current problem. Yeah, we're definitely going to run into some logistics issues pressing forward here unless we get a supply hub down over this way. And there's not... Well, there is one over here in Salvador. And there's also this naval base here. So that would help. But there's a supply hub right here that we're constructing, of course. Wait, no. Yes, that we're constructing. That's where we're constructing it, right? Yes. Okay. So that's going to take some time to construct because we are having to defend this area. And, I mean, supply hubs are in general just kind of slow to build. So there is that. Okay. So supply is going to be our Achilles heel in this area until we can get that under control. That said, if we were able to successfully attack Salvador, I'm going to use our tanks to attack here, including these tanks. And these infantry are going to assist the attack. Nope, this isn't going to work. Okay, we're going to not do that. So that is fine then. What are we on here? We're on balanced attack? Okay, that seems good. Balanced attack is absolutely fine. So this fill-in is okay. We definitely do want to attack out over this way. Otherwise, we're mostly just kind of chilling here, right? There's a lot of attrition in this area, and we need to get these supplies under control. That's for sure. We now at least have some level of railway down over this way, which is nice. This railway is going to need to get upgraded, but we can't do that just yet. You need to get up to level 5. There we go. And how are we doing on that supply hub? 26 December before that's going to get done. Okay. This supply hub is heavily overloaded right now. I'm going to motorize from here. That does not help very much. It helps a little. Okay. Supplies are grim. We're retreating from here right now, and that is where we're building our supply hub. Gonna move these tanks in, as well as some infantry here. But I kind of don't have a lot of hope in holding this location. The main problem, like I said, is absolutely one of supply. So that gets rid of our supply hub there. We need to build our supply hub in a slightly safer location. But there isn't exactly a slightly safer location here. I guess here? We could build one here. That is a slightly safer location. Let's get going on that. It's not an ideal location, but if we're not going to be pressing in significantly here, then that's, I guess, the best we can do. And if that's the case, we should probably also consider fortifying this front, at least until that's done. So something like that. I do want the supply hub to be the top priority, and we can bump the naval bases up as well. Okay, so we're going to get going on that, getting some levels of dig-in going here. That'll be fine. And these units are going to be shuffling in and out, right? So we're going to be working on holding this front. Supply is the problem. We are deeply unsurprised about that. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to work on this supply hub right up over here, which will help us significantly in distributing our supply to the front line down over here. That is the reason we've halted, and we absolutely need to get our supplies in. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadowwolf, Kintogan, Ali Lee, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.